In June of 2021, I received my brother. He said, "Katie, Mom has died." I was in shock. What? What are you talking about? What happened? She committed suicide. Did you know that there's a 50% chance that you could receive a call like mine? Dr. Julie Serrell of the American Association of Suicidology says that almost half of Americans know someone who has died by suicide, and a third of Americans feel that their life has been changed by losing someone to suicide. The American Foundation for Suicide Prevention reports that suicide is the 10th leading cause of death in the United States, and in Alabama in 2019, 804 people died by suicide. So there are 3 questions that I want to answer today. Number 1 is, how is suicide grief different? 2, how can I cope if I've lost someone to suicide? And 3, how can I help a friend who has lost someone to suicide? So what makes suicide grief different? Suicide survivors have a 43% risk of developing complex or complicated grief compared to 7% of those who experience other types of loss. Complicated grief symptoms include intrusive thoughts surrounding the circumstances of death, self-blame, intense longing for the deceased, avoidance of thoughts, memories, or previously shared experiences, and inadequate adaptation to the loss. Complex grief can have negative health outcomes as well. There's a greater risk for developing cancer, hypertension, and cardiac problems, sleep disturbances, reduced quality of life, and work and social impairments. You could also develop major depression, anxiety disorders, and PTSD, which is post-traumatic stress disorder. Suicide survivors are also at a higher risk for suicidal ideation and behavior. Suicide survivors experience greater levels of emotional distress than other survivor groups, greater levels of rejection and abandonment by the one who has passed away, feelings of guilt, responsibility, and blame for not being able to stop it, a greater need to conceal the cause of death because of stigmatization or shame, and isolation. They often need more support from others but receive less. There can be strained family relationships, and if the relationship was difficult, even a sense of relief. So if I've lost someone to suicide, how can I cope? Number 1 is accept the reality of the death. Suicide death often is sudden, unexpected, and sometimes violent. Denial is normal. Shock, numb, feeling unreal, like you're in a bad dream and you just can't wake up. Number 2 is you have to feel your emotions to heal, which is often very difficult. So you have to let yourself feel the pain of the loss and whatever feelings come up with that, and to feel those without judging yourself. Mixed emotions are normal. Hurt, anger, sadness, and relief exist together. Number 3 is confront the what ifs. You didn't know then what you know now, and you are not responsible for anyone's decision to complete suicide. And number 4, I think the most important, is find support. Tears are meant to be seen by others. That's why our tear ducts are located on our faces. So that might be a support group, a professional counselor, trusted friend, and even journaling can help. So if you have a friend who has lost someone to suicide, how can you help that friend? Number 1 is be present. Be there for them emotionally when they need to talk, or they just need you to sit with them. And you could do physical things like going to the store for them, childcare, bringing food. All those things are very helpful. And number 2 is be patient. Healing takes time. It is very likely that your friend will not quite ever be the same again. And so your acceptance of them really matters. Number 3 is be polite. Don't say you understand if you don't. And don't ask how it happened or if they had any idea it was going to happen. This can feel like you're blaming them for the loss of their loved one. And don't try to fix it because you can't, but you can let them know that they are not alone. And number 4 is be proactive. Your friend may not know what they need, so you can tell them what you can offer. And then after the funeral, after the service, don't disappear. Stay in contact with your friend. And you can watch for warning signs of suicide risk, This is a partial list from the American Association of Suicidology. It says talking about or threatening to kill or hurt themselves, withdrawal from friends, family, and society, increased substance abuse, engaging in risky behavior, increased anxiety, dramatic mood changes, hopelessness, giving away prized possessions, or seeking long-term care of pets. So in conclusion, on average, one person kills himself every 11 minutes in the United States. The grief of the loved ones left behind is severe, but there is hope. Suicide survivors can heal, and they need your help to do so. Even one compassionate person or friend can make all the difference. 2 weeks ago, I was able to be a part of the American Foundation of Suicide Prevention's Out of the Darkness Walk. I was able to raise over $300 to help in the research and prevention of suicide. I was able to meet other suicide survivors like myself. We all wore different colored necklaces to represent those that we had lost. I hope that you never get a call like I did, but if you do, just know that you are not alone. Help is available. And the pain doesn't fully go away, but you can learn to carry it a little easier. If you or a friend need help, please reach out. You can visit the Crisis Center BHAM.org online. You can call the National Suicide Prevention number at 800-273-8255. You can text the crisis text line. Just text TALK, TALK, to 741-741. And you can also visit afsp.org. Thank you.